what's guys, welcome back to the channel. In today's video we are going to be painting the AMT 2021 Dodge Charger police car, and I gotta say this one turned out pretty cool. So we're using all splash paints for this one, so we're going to use splash paints dark primer. Since this is a dark color, a dark blue, so it's necessary to do a darker color primer, you want to call it. So but if you're doing a lighter color, of course you want to use white primer or like a lighter gray. So we're using dark gray primer from splash paints. So again, we're gonna go ahead and use this for the harsh areas first, easy to forget spots. I did 2 coats, but I'm going to show you 1 coat because it's just primer, it's nothing too special, and then we'll come back when we get to color coat. Alrighty, so let it dry for about 5 hours or about 4 to 5 hours. If you got time overnight would be best, but I let it dry for about 5 hours because it's humid out, and again, splash paints, it dries pretty fast. So both any dust, if there's any dust for sitting around, I did sand this primer down just a little bit because it was a little rough. So sand it down if you have to, and then blow off any dust, and then we're going to go ahead and use our color coat. So the color for this particular one, this is New York State Trooper police car. So this took a good minute to figure out what the color code is because I tried figuring it out. Sam over at Splash Paints was trying to help me figure out what the heck it was. Then he finally found a color code, so he custom mixed me this particular blue, which is exactly blue as the car, which is super cool. Sam has done an absolutely outstanding job of getting the color correct. Now if you want a particular color custom mix, all you have to do is go to splashpaints.com and type in your custom color. Go to custom color code on his website, and then you type in the color code, and he can custom mix you a color, so which is pretty cool. But if you don't know what the color is and you don't know what the color code is, I'm sure you can email him and he can definitely help you out from there. But again, hard to reach areas first, easy to forget spots. And this color turned out pretty good. It covered pretty decent. So we did put on 3 coats, and then we'll move on to the entire body. Again, keep your coats light and not too heavy. Alrighty, so about 5 minutes later, we're ready to move on to our second coat. You make sure your body has an eggshell look to it. If you don't know how much time to wait, as you can see on here, it has like an eggshell look to it. So it's kind of like a matte semi-finish, you want to call it. So once it has that look to it, and you're good to go on your second or third coat, whatever you're on. Okay, now we're on to our third and final coat. This is just to make sure everything is covered. Again, this color turned out pretty good. It covered pretty decent. So we're just going to do one more coat to just make sure it's completely covered and make sure everything is covered, all the hard to reach areas first and all that good stuff. So make sure it's all covered, and then we're going to call this good, and then we're going to let it dry for about 5 hours before we move on to decals, and then we move on to clear coat. Alrighty, so about 5 hours later, we let the body dry, and then we applied our decals. So again, my decals dry for at least overnight. I always try to say at least 8 hours for decals to dry, but if you have time overnight, which is more than enough. Now, these are custom mixed decals. You can go to STS Decals, get your custom mixed made decals. I got these off eBay. I'll leave a link down below to his eBay store. He makes these like pretty cool police car decals for a lot of cars, like die-cast cars and stuff. This particular sheet was actually meant for this particular kit, the AMT Dodge Charger. So if you want a police car decal. If he doesn't have it, again, STS decals is your best option to get your custom made decals for police car decals. So we probably one very light coat on the decals, so that way decals can be used to the clear coat. Since we are using 2K Clear is very, very friendly, and decals has no issues with 2K Clear. Now, if you're using Tamiya clear coat or Mr. Hobby, that might be an issue because that clear coat is very hot and decals do not like those. But if you are using 2K Clear like I am, you will have no issues. So get those decals covered and then move on to your harsh reach areas first, and then we move on to our entire body. Alrighty, as you can see, the first coat turned out pretty good. It's very shiny. Again, there's an orange peel, so if you do have orange peel, you can put in more reducer into your clear coat mix. I didn't have to because I did thin this down pretty good, but if you want to, add more thinner to it, and it will flow out of your airbrush more smoother and create a much more smoother finish onto the body whatsoever. So the second coat is where it begins to start getting rid of the orange peel. I always want to say this. On decals, you're always going to get some sort of orange peel. It's just the nature of decals. It don't matter if you're using the most expensive clear coat in the planet. You're always going to get orange peel on decals. It's just the nature of decals. So don't even try to get rid of orange peel on the decals because it's always going to come back. Your best option is put on 3 coats, then let it dry for at least 4 hours or 4 days, my bad, and then wet sand it and polish it. So don't even try to just keep putting on clear coat because, again, clear coat, the more clear coat you put on, more thicker it's going to get, and it's just going to look weird. So don't even bother trying to get all the orange peel out. And of course, you can try, get most of it out on the paint job itself, and it can definitely do that. But on the decals, just let it be, okay? Alright, now we're on to our third and final coat. Again, you can put a more reducer into your clear coat if you do have quite a bit of orange peel left over. As you can see, there's hardly any orange peel on this thing, so it's turning out pretty good. So this is the third and final coat. Make sure that the third coat should be your last one. You know, if you have tons of orange peel, You can put on a 4th coat, but that's optional. That is completely optional. I do recommend just doing 3 coats, because 4 coats, it just gets a little bit too much. So 3rd and final coat, and we're just going to blast on this clear coat. And then if you want to, you can go ahead at the end, if you have a little clear coat left over, you can do a mist coat. A mist coat is basically just go over the whole body, but don't just go slow like I'm doing here on your main coats. Just go pretty fast, move your airbrush pretty fast, and just put on a little mist coat, and that will just make sure everything is completely covered. And at the end, as you see here, it just turns out so good. Make sure you just give a good look over on the body, check everything, and check under the body, check your pillars, check everything, make sure it's completely covered and nice and shiny, and this thing turned out super good. So let it dry for about 4 to 5 days, and then again, if you have orange peel or pivots, wet sand it and polish it. But alright guys, that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed, and until my next video, I will catch you guys next time.